In late February 2026, the United States and Israel launched coordinated strikes on Iran, targeting military sites and killing key Iranian leaders, including Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and senior commanders. This marked the beginning of a new and intense phase of conflict between Washington and Tehran. Iran responded with a series of missile and drone attacks, not only on Israeli targets, but also on U.S. military bases and allied positions across the Middle East. The violence rapidly escalated, drawing in naval forces and disrupting global trade through the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most crucial oil transit routes. Key triggers have included assassination of Iranian leadership figures, mutual missile and air operations, closure or restricted use of the Strait of Hormuz, economic disruption and sanctions pressure. This conflict is now one of the most serious U.S.-Iran confrontations in decades, with broader implications for the global economy, Middle East security, and world energy markets. 2. Current situation, April 2026. A. Ceasefire and tentative pause. A 2-week ceasefire was agreed in early April after more than 5 weeks of sustained fighting. However, the ceasefire is fragile, and both sides remain on high alert. Despite this temporary calm, military tensions are increasing again, especially around the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. naval presence has expanded, with a blockade of Iranian ports in effect, stopping most maritime trade. Iran has threatened retaliation if disruption to its shipping persists. Key recent events. The U.S. claims its blockade has fully halted sea trade to and from Iran. Iran indicated countermeasures if trade restrictions continue. Talks to extend the ceasefire are ongoing but not yet concluded. B. Peace talks and diplomacy. Mediated negotiations. There have been multiple diplomatic efforts involving third parties, especially Pakistan, Egypt, and Turkey, to mediate between the U.S. and Iran. April 11 through 12, a high-level round of talks took place in Islamabad, including U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance and senior Iranian officials. Despite long discussions, no final agreement was reached. Both sides agreed to consider further talks, and a second round is expected soon. Core issues in negotiations. Diplomacy has focused on Iran's nuclear program and uranium enrichment, sanctions relief, Iran's frozen assets, security guarantees, control and use of the Strait of Hormuz. However, deep disagreements remain, especially over nuclear constraints and U.S. demands that Tehran end missile development and regional proxy activities. Political statements. Iran says it wants a lasting end to the war but rejects terms it sees as unacceptable. The U.S. stresses that stability in the region and cessation of Iranian military expansion are non-negotiable. 3. Military and strategic developments. A. Maritime blockade and Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. has intensified its military presence, enforcing a maritime blockade of Iranian ports, a major escalation that directly affects global shipping and energy flows. Iran has responded by threatening to block more sea routes if pressure continues, allowing limited passage of selected foreign vessels under negotiated conditions. This blockade significantly affects oil exports, global shipping lanes, international economic stability. B. Aircraft and military losses. Iran shot down a U.S. F-15E fighter early in April, prompting a controversial U.S. rescue operation for the crew and underscoring the gravity of the conflict. 4. Political, economic, and global consequences. A. Economic impact. The conflict has already disrupted oil and gas markets, increased prices due to supply uncertainty, threatened global energy security. The potential closure of the Strait of Hormuz, even temporarily, could have far-reaching effects on global commodity markets and inflation. B. Regional security. Neighboring countries, e.g. Saudi Arabia, Qatar, are concerned about the wider implications. Some Gulf states have warned of military action if necessary, highlighting how fragile the region's diplomatic environment is. 5. What happens next? Possible scenarios. 1. Successful peace deal. If forthcoming negotiations produce a comprehensive deal, the ceasefire could be extended, the blockade might be lifted, diplomatic relations could slowly improve. However, major differences remain on core security and nuclear issues. 2. Continued stalemate and escalation. If talks fail, military pressure could increase. Iran might retaliate more forcefully. Regional conflicts could widen, drawing in other actors. 3. Long-term standoff. Even without full escalation, the war could continue in a low-intensity form, with economic sanctions, naval tension, and periodic violence, disrupting regional and global stability. 6. Who is mediating and why it matters? Third parties like Pakistan are playing a central role in brokering talks.